In F1, tyres are a crucial part in getting the car to be able to go through corners and straights at the highest speeds possible. These tyres are made up of multiple different polymers, each with different properties that help contribute to reaching the tyre's best performance. And this is what we will be looking into. But first of all, we will look at what a polymer is and how they work. A polymer is a large molecule known as a macromolecule that is made through a process called polymerization. This is where small repeating structural units, known as monomers, join to one another. There are two types of polymers: natural polymers, which are produced through DNA, proteins and polysaccharides, and synthetic polymers, which are mainly produced through step and chain growth mechanisms. The chain growth mechanism is a polymerization technique where monomers are added to an active chain one by one. This mechanism is synthesized through a series of steps. The first step is initiation, where the reaction begins, as a monomer joins to a reactive species, creating a reactive end on a polymer. Secondly, we have the propagation step, where the polymer chain grows as more monomers are added. And finally, there's the termination step, where the polymer chain stops growing due to the reactive end of the polymer being deactivated or due to all monomers being consumed. In step growth polymerization, both monomers and growing chains have reactive sites and so can all combine to form longer chains at a faster rate. Now we're going to look at the polymers in F1 tyres, starting with the inside of the tyre. Bromobutyl rubber is used for the inner lining of the tyre. This is obtained by copolymerization of isobutylene and a small percentage of isoprene, as well as the addition of bromine. This is used as bromobutyl rubber has low air permeability and so the nitrogen in the tyre won't escape. Bromobutyl has this property because methyl groups on the polymer backbone impede the movement of the polymer chains and thus reduce the ability of gas molecules to pass through the material. The halogen bromine is added as it provides a bond with the carcass compounds of the tyre, which is mainly natural rubber. It is also widely acknowledged that the improved vulcanization rate derives from the bromination of bromobutyl rubber. I will discuss the vulcanization process shortly. Going slightly off topic, you may be wondering why nitrogen is used instead of air. Well, this is due to the fact that nitrogen has a lower moisture content than air, and moisture content fluctuates a lot with temperature, and so Formula 1 engineers use nitrogen as they want to keep tyre pressures and temperatures as stable as they can at all times. Also, nitrogen almost does not interact with rubber, whilst moisture can stick to the inner walls of the tyre, creating more drag. Moving on, the tread of the tyre is made up of a mixture of natural rubber, synthetic rubber and carbon black fillers. Natural rubber, which is mostly made up of isoprene, makes up around 10% of the tyre and is used because it has outstanding resilience, flexibility and tear and tensile strength, as well as low heat buildup and abrasion. These properties stem from its ability to undergo strain-induced crystallization. Strain-induced crystallization is where an initial amorphous polymer undergoes strain and transforms to a crystalline polymer. Now, the reason amorphous polymers are weaker than crystalline structures is because amorphous polymers are usually made of atactic polymer chains, which is where the orientation of functional groups on the polymer backbone is random, whereas crystalline structures consist of syndiotactic chains, where functional groups alternate in a regular manner, and isotactic chains, where all the functional groups are on the same side of the polymer backbone. Isotactic and syndiotactic chains are more ordered and packed better than atactic chains, making the polymer stronger. In simpler terms, amorphous polymers do not have uniformly packed molecules, whereas crystalline polymers do. However, these synthetic polymers don't crystallize so are relatively weak without reinforcing fillers, such as carbon black. Carbon black filler makes up around 30% of the tyre and has a black pigment which gives the tyre its colour. It functions to strengthen, increase the volume and improve the physical properties of natural and synthetic rubbers, as well as strengthening vulcanization. Tyres in F1 need good durability and wear resistance, as they are constantly being put under harsh conditions when the cars are doing over 200 miles per hour on straights and taking corners at anywhere between 30 and 190 miles per hour. These speeds also cause the tyre temperature to average 100 degrees Celsius and reach temperatures of up to 150 degrees. In the tyre assembly, all these compounds we have been through will be built up on a drum layer by layer. It then undergoes vulcanisation by heating with sulphur, which is a chemical process that involves cross-linking polymers to improve physical properties and bind the tyre together. In F1, there are multiple different compounds of tyres that have different ratios of these polymers used in order to get a variety of tyres that can be used specific to the track and conditions. Often, more grip and speed means lower longevity, meaning teams have to come up with different strategies of tyres to use and when in order to finish in the fastest time possible.